See, in India scenario, when we talk about honesty, integrity, and why we are a country which can very well be an advanced country, why we are not, we always talk about corruption, nepotism, how the system has created multiple societies, differences in health, wealth, education, rural, urban. All of this boils down to should have a philosophical discussion. What is our culture? Who are we? When we say we are Hindus, Christian or Muslims, what does that mean? So here I want to first talk about perception and truth, reality. Is there such thing as a real thing as truth, single truth? That is often debated, and here I would like to give an example and elaborate on this matter a little bit more. If you take 9 blind people feeling an elephant, you take 9 people blind and put them before elephant and say, feel this. The person who feels the legs will say it's a pillar. The person who feels the stomach will say it's a wall. The person who feels the tail will say it's a rope. The person who feels the front of the elephant, the horn, husk, will say this is a snake. In reality, all are right. Everybody is telling the truth because that is our perception. So we should always think when we say Dharma, Adharma, Rama Rajya, what is the right and all, it is in our own conscience. What we think is right is our own conscience. So in reality, truth is what we believe in. When somebody lies, they know they are lying. When somebody is telling the truth, they are telling the truth. But you may not agree with it because your perception is different. But that doesn't mean that person is lying. So there is a difference between truth and not telling the truth. There is difference between Satya and Asatya. There is a difference between Dharma and Adharma. What you perform may be Dharma. For example, I am a Hindu. I worship certain gods. I do certain way. That is my Dharma. Whereas a Christian worships certain other god. That is his Dharma. A Muslim worships some other god. That is his or her Dharma. All are Dharmas. There is nothing like I am right or you are wrong. Everybody, there may be single God, there may be single entity. So in this regard, what I want to bring home a message is, what is our conscience telling us? Our conscience should be our keeper. So this is where the truth comes as our own conscience. We know when we tell a lie, we are making it. We know when we give a handshake and a word is a word. When we don't keep up the word, we know we have not kept up the word. So breaking our word, breaking this. So here I want to tell you a short story, because Indian mythology is full of such stories, which really culturally should make us different human beings. Lot of them, recently I was in Gundalpet, where I asked, these are all rural kids, asked them, do you know the story of Satya Harishchandra? Shocker, none of them knew. And I said, how is it possible? A powerful mythological figure, we don't know. So this is where I want to elaborate on the Satya Harishchandra. Here there is nothing like absolute truth. It is the word given. There is no legal agreement. There is no signed agreement. There is no registration of this agreement. But it is the word you are given. That is what matters. So there was a mythical king called Harishchandra in Satya Yuga. He was a man of great repute. He believed truth, word, giving a word stands above everything. Once there was a debate in Devaloka, celestial world, where Lord Indra was presiding, and one of the rishis said, in this world, Vishwamitra said, in this world there is nobody who abides by the truth, he said. Or word, when they give the word, they keep up. Then the other Rishi, Vashishta, said, there is a person. Who is that? He says, one king called Harishchandra. So the debate goes on, and in that they agree they will test him. If Vishwamitra succeeds, Vasishtha and all of them will become essentially slaves. Listen to him. If Vishwamitra fails, he will give all his knowledge to Harishchandra, all his Brahma Rishi's knowledge to him, make him a very wise man. So they agree on these terms, and Vishwamitra goes to Harishchandra's kingdom. And when he is received very well, he says, I have come to ask you. He says, Rishi, ask me anything you want. I want your kingdom and all the wealth. He says, okay, I give. He donates everything. Then he says, I want so much money. He says, I'll give you. So after that, when he is about to come given money, he said, how can you give this money? You already donated everything. So Harishchandra says, I will go work in another city and earn and give you. He says, okay, you can, I'll give you only few months. And he sends a bodyguard called Nakshatraka. In our language, he says Nakshatraka means one who is constantly irritating you, saying, I want this. So he sends him. To make it very short, he goes to the holy city of Kashi, where Satya Harishchandra sells his wife and child, sells himself to the person who is looking after the cemetery, Bahu, Veera Bahu, and that money he collects and gives it to Nakshatraka to return his dues. All of this based on the word of mouth. There is no written agreement, no lawyers, nobody. It's a word of mouth. Remember that. Satya, truth, obligation, just based on word. That is the importance here. Then of course he is tested. His son dies for a snake bite. He comes to the cemetery. He can't recognize his wife. He says you have to pay in order to do. Even if he recognizes later on his wife, he says, no, I will not allow the burial unless you pay. And at that point, she herself is about to die. And then the gods appear and say, we have tested you enough. And Vishwamitra says, I have been defeated by you. Your truth, honesty, what you stood for, is really should be a valuable lesson to others. Everybody should hear this story. And he gives all his knowledge to him. And Satya Harishchandra returns to become the king again on his kingdom. So this is amazing story how truth is so important, loyalty is important, understanding it is important. And I said never forget, truth comes in different forms, but what we believe in is what we should initiate and execute, and word of mouth is important. Thank you for listening to this.